Hey right guys, Truth Much is Joe here, and today we are watching and reacting to episode 7 of Shadowhunters season 3. After this episode we only have 3 to go and then we are all caught up finally. But yeah, I enjoyed the last episode. I think it was probably the more week 1 of season 3 so far, but I still really enjoyed it, and that just kind of speaks to how well season 3's been doing. I've really enjoyed it, and dude, I'm kind of sad that it's kind of coming not to an end because it is only the mid-season finale. It's not like the end of the season, but we're still gonna have to wait the amount of time people would have to wait for an entire season. So kind of annoying. But yeah, hopefully this episode can just be fantastic. Like I did enjoy, like I say, I'm enjoying the last episode. It's not like when I'm looking at Teen Wolf and Pretty Little Lies and I look at the previous episode and it had like a 4 out of 10. This is still like a 7 out of 10 for me. So yeah, just give us Magnus and Nardik and I'll be happy. No, but if you enjoy, remember to leave a like. If you're new, remember to subscribe. And if you do want the full, you don't got something on YouTube anyway. If you do want early uploads to Shadowhunters, then a link to the Patreon page will be down below, as well as links to Twitter and Instagram if you want to follow me on either of those. And finally, Discord if you want to join that and talk about the show with myself and others. But yes, episode 7, guys, let's do it. You're in the prison cells now, Clary. Woo! Okay, there we go, guys. That is episode 7 of Shadowhunters season 3. That was a fantastic episode. I really enjoyed that. That might be one of my favourite. Wait, let me have a look. I say it's one of my favourites, but literally every episode of season 3 has been, well, minus 2 that have been just good, but the rest have just been outstanding anyway. I'd say this was another outstanding one. I love this one. I think I only really have one major weakness, and that was the fact after the intro that Clary was kind of fine after like 2 minutes. If there was like some magical rune heat and stuff, I wish we'd seen that. Like, I think you should have explained that or just said something to make it clear. But you don't just fall from a building that high, land in that position on a car, and then you just fine after 2 minutes. If there is an explanation, they didn't explain it. So, as far as I'm concerned, there wasn't one, and they just had to be fine after a minute. So I think that's a bit ridiculous. But other than that, I love pretty much every story that was going on in this episode. I think the weakest one, even though it was still good, was Luke and Simon. I like them two like teaming up anyway. Like those two really have a good dynamic, and they found like Lilith's little lair. But we didn't really learn anything because the girl that, or the woman that Luke was kind of looking for, escaped anyway. The only thing that was different is the two people that hit. Actually, saying that, I guess we've got a bit more when, because the girl told Lilith that Simon is a problem. So that will probably lead to something later. As of right now, it hasn't. So it could be a setup for like a later thing regarding Simon. So it's not a negative for me. All I'm saying is I think that was the weakest part of the episode, or the weakest story, even though it's still really good. I loved the intro that we got with Jason Clary. That's one of my favourite intros that we've actually had to the show, like the intro before the intro. I think they're called like cold openings or something like that. I don't know, the choreography was just so well done. I wish it went on a little bit longer. That would have been nice, but it was still well done. I like how there's just no music to it. It just makes it more intense when there's just dead silence and it's just them two like fighting. Music works sometimes in some fight scenarios, but other times like that, I'm just glad it was just the fight, and I love that. I think that was really well done. And then the fact Jace just launched her off the building, kind of ruined it by having her like absolutely fine a minute later. She wasn't limping or anything, no scratches, absolutely fine, but it's what it is. A lot of this episode was definitely Maya and Jordan slash Kyle. That could come across as boring and like a weak part of the kind of show for a lot of people, I think. I loved it. I thought it's fantastic. Maya is... I think if you don't care about Maya, you're not going to care about this episode that much because she did take up about 20 minutes of the episode. Like, she was half the episode at the end of the day. But I adored it. I think she's one of my favourite characters. She'd definitely be in my top 5, I think. She just gets better and better, and I'm so glad we had like this backstory with her and Jordan. I don't agree, like, I'm not happy with what Jordan did, but I'm glad she kind of accepted that he couldn't control what he was doing, he couldn't even remember doing it, and she's been through that where she hurt someone that she didn't mean to hurt as well when she was first turned into a wolf. But I'm also glad that she bore the fact that it was just he ran away. He didn't even try and help her. That's what she's angry about. I loved that whole scene. And then when he tried to leave, he's like, no, he's staying to help Simon. So I do like Jordan. I think he's a cool character. And I'm glad they had this episode with him to kind of give him a bit more to him as well. So that was really cool. And they seem to have like a cute little relationship in the past. Obviously, it kind of went a bit downhill, but that was because he was scratched. It wasn't him, like really, at the end of the day. So because I might have said she was pretty much the same when she first got turned as well. But luckily, she had Luke. If she didn't have Luke, it would have been a lot worse. So yeah, I loved all the Maya stuff this episode. I thought that was really interesting. I feel like they're gonna have a little thing there. I feel like Jordan slash Kyle, whatever his real name is, I think it's Jordan. I feel like he's gonna be the one that's gonna do the downfall of her and Simon. So we'll see, which is kind of annoying. I might be wrong. We'll wait and see, but yeah. And then we had like the other story, which was Clary, Izzy, and Alec going to Alicante. Alicante, is that what it's called? That place is awesome. I'm glad we just got like a new set and a new location to kind of look at. It's always nice when shows like this do that because they're so used to having their own sets and they don't really want to like be building new ones or whatever because it costs money to do so. But it's just nice to see the whole city, even though that was CG or whatever, but like just different buildings. It just looked nice. I like the what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. I just like the location. That was really cool. And then we had Jace kind of chopping off fingers, going to graveyards, doing his thing. I don't know how they're gonna fix him, but at least they've got him contained. But like Magnus said, only for now. Like we'll see what happens in episode 8, of course. But yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. I'd say the strongest part of it was Maya and her whole backstory and her confronting Jordan. All that stuff was great. Hopefully they continue that up with episode 8. See, that's like a side plot that I'm interested in because we care about the character. But when we had like Heidi or whatever her name is, that's a side plot no one cares about because we don't know who that character is. So we just don't really care. Where this, at least we care for Maya, so we care for the story that she's telling and seeing the past and all that. So I really enjoyed that stuff. I'm gonna give this one an 8 point. 8 point. I'll go 8.5 out of 10. I think it's better than episode 1, 4, 5, and 6. It's been the best one in about 3 episodes, but not as strong as episode 3, and definitely not as strong as episode 2. Episode 2 is going to be very hard to top. Yeah, I'll get 8.5 out of 10. Strongest part was Maya. And there we go. So thank you for watching, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Everything that I mentioned at the start of the video will be in the pinned comment down below. So make sure to check some of those out. And I'll see you soon for episode 8. Until then, peace.